your dog, and your brother, somebody that you built such something special as the Dipset, this special thing of ours. One would think that would, I'm not going to say that's audacity, but it shows the value of their relationship and where it's at currently today. Once again, Jimmy said he will punch Cameron's heads off. Jimmy, apparently Jimmy's under the impression that he's more aggressive than Cam and Mace because he's always threatening to put his hands on Cam and Mace, in which I don't see Cam and Mace reciprocating that per se. Now, I can't say that Cam and Mace don't have hands. They're from New York City. New York City, I presume that you have to have some type of hands. But you can't assume everybody have hands. I get it. Everybody's not like me, per se. With that being said, Jimmy's always offering proposition Cam and Mace to put their hands on him, and I don't see Cam and Mace responding back. That doesn't necessarily Cam and Mace can't handle Jimmy. That doesn't necessarily mean that. Nor does that necessarily mean that Cam and Mace don't have hands for Jimmy or they're in fear of Jimmy. That's not saying that. That doesn't show that, right? But what I can say, Jimmy's under the impression he's very confident that he could beat up Cam and Mace, all right? In which Jimmy offered to fight Cameron for $10 million. Now, hold up. Clap it up for Jimmy just for being the promoter that he is. A young Don King, if you may. Hold up. That part. Yeah. I could dig it, Jimmy. I could dig it, Jimmy. Jimmy, I like your negotiation tactics. Jimmy, I like you. I like the way you're taking advantage of the situation. Jim Jones is taking advantage of the limelight. All right. If you see at the end of every conversation, Jim Jones always tells you this is for entertainment purposes. Same way I'm speaking to you guys. This is for entertainment purposes. All right. But nonetheless, that's a disclaimer. Let's make this clear. All right. It's been confirmed. Jimmy's offering Cameron to fight for $10 million. Now, my question is to you guys. Would you guys pay for a Cameron and Jim Jones fight? Is a Cameron and Jim Jones fight worth $10 million? I've never seen Cam throw hands. I've never seen Jimmy throw hands. Though I have seen Capo attempt to throw a man down the escalator, right? It was a little aggressive. I've seen how Capo react in the Rucker Park. Now, mind you, when you're getting jumped, of course you're going to run. I've done had 30 niggas get at me where I've had to run before. Sometimes it's warranted. Sometimes you need to get your ass up out of Dodge. The odds are against you. But nonetheless, is a Jim Jones Cameron fight worth $10 million? I don't think so. I don't quite think so. They might have to bring that down a little bit, bring down the price a little bit, and maybe somebody can make that happen. All right? Because apparently Jimmy has a chip on his shoulder for Cam. Jimmy said Cameron backdoored him. So you guys know with the verses, y'all know Jim Jones was the one that was eager to put the verses together between Dipset and the L.O.T.S. Jimmy was the one who put that. He orchestrated that. He initiated that. He planted the seed in Cameron's head. Let's go. With that being said, according to Jim Jones, Cameron backdoored him, right? He said Cameron negotiated a piece of the company, and Cameron confirmed that. Cameron said that I guess the offer wasn't lucrative enough initially from Swiss Beats and Timbaland, the owners of Versus. It wasn't juicy enough, per se. No Diddy. With that being said, he was able to negotiate a piece of the company. Now, according to Jim Jones, this was not in the contract. He never got the memo. Jim Jones describes this as a backdoor. He interprets that as a backdoor. He says Cameron backdoored me to get a piece of the verses, to get a piece of the company. Now, I don't know how he correlate that to a backdoor, because I guess he said Cameron did not let him know. I guess Cameron didn't tell him that that was the plan. I don't know if Cameron didn't notify him post putting the deal together. Could it be that Jimmy found out when we found out that Cam got a piece of the company? Nonetheless, Jimmy feels like that's a backdoor. Jimmy feels like Cameron should have, I guess he should have benefited from having a piece of the company. Jimmy even went as far as to offer Cameron to give him his portion of what he would get paid for the event, just so Jimmy could perform in Madison Square Gardens again. Madison Square Gardens has a sentimental value for anybody that performs there, whether it be a singer, a rapper, or just basketball player, right? It's the Garden. Jimmy was eager to get there, so he was willing to forfeit his portion of the pay. Nonetheless, Jimmy says Cameron backdoored him. Now, it seems like between Dipset, between Jimmy and Cameron, there's a lot of backdooring. I'm going to call a spade a spade. You guys know what Cameron copyrighted, trademarked the Bird Gang logo behind Jimmy's back. This is Jimmy saying this. Now, I don't know if this was in response to Jimmy trademarking the Dipset logo. Hold up. Yeah, you heard it. They doubled back on each other, and Jimmy and Cam doubled back on each other, and they trademarked each other's logos for each other's groups, companies. Bird Gang, remember, Bird Gang and Dipset. It was Dipset. Then Jimmy came with Bird Gang. Bird Gang was supposed to be an offshoot of Dipset. Hello. Well, I guess Cameron didn't like the way things was going. Maybe Cameron felt like he was being undermined, in which Cameron thought he felt he was in his best interest to copyright the Bird Gang logo, which, he didn't come up with the logo. Unbeknownst to Jimmy. That's called a backdoor. So Jimmy and Cameron apparently have been backdooring each other. So it seems like Jimmy and Cameron have this friendly rivalry going on, but it's deadly at the same time, because they say business and friends don't mix. So these guys are mixing business with friendship, and it's getting personal. But to Jim Jones's defense, Jim Jones said he's always going to wave the Dipset flag. Somehow, and we gotta give credit to Jim Jones. Jim Jones is able to put aside his ego, his objective for the Dipset agenda. Jimmy still is pushing the Dipset flag. So this beef, this so-called beef between Cameron and Jimmy, it may not be what everybody's thinking, right? Obviously, they're two brothers. It might just be a petty quarrel between two brothers. How far can this actually go? Jimmy said he's going to punch Cameron's head off.